Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you had a great holiday and you're all rested, ready to start term 4. In this term, we're moving on to a different form of writing. This time, we're going to be going on to imaginative writing. We're going to be learning about how to write narratives. Our learning intention, we are learning about imaginative text. And our success criteria, I can understand the purpose of a narrative and I can write a short narrative about a monster. So let's find out about what an imaginative narrative is. Click on this link to find out more information about the topic. As you can see, I've got the link address you can type in, or once again, if you look in your week 1 learning timetable or in our week 1 writing folder, you can click on the links there. Before we start the lesson, I'd like to find out about your favourite narratives or stories that you've read and some of the informative texts that you've read. Now, normally, if we were in the classroom, I'd be holding up books, various books, and you'd be sorting them out for me, and I'd be writing the ones that you want to tell me about on the whiteboard. But since I haven't got you in front of me, what I've done instead is if you look in your week 1 folder, you'll see that you've got a Jamboard. Here's a copy of it, and what I'd like you to use on the sticky notes, choose blue sticky notes and write me some of the favourite stories that you've read, and use green sticky notes for some of the informative texts that you've read. Here's some that I've done. I've read Little Red Riding Hood. Notice I've put the name of the text and my name, and an informative text I've read is Facts About Sharks. So let's find out what we know about narrative so far. Narrative texts tell a story to entertain the reader. They have a setting. Now that tells the reader the time that it's happening and the place that the story is happening. It has characters. That's the people or animals or objects in the story. Then it has a plot. This is what happens in the story. What are the sequence of events that happen? There are many different types of narratives, such as picture books, short stories, or fairy tales. Before we start our writing today, I want you to listen to this narrative. It's called How I Met My Monster. As you can see, I've got the link address down the bottom, or if you look in your week 1 writing folder, you'll see the link there, or there's also a link in our learning timetable for week 1. This story is a really good narrative. As you're listening to it, I want you to think about these questions. What happened at the beginning of the story? What happened in the middle? What was the problem? What happened at the end of the story? Was the problem solved or not? Who are the characters in the story? Then my final question is, did you make a connection to another story or movie about the monsters? I know when I was reading it, I certainly did. I wonder if you've made the same connection as me. Today we're going to start our writing task straight away. Normally I'd be giving you a detailed modelled and guided lesson on how to write a narrative, but because it's the beginning of our unit, I want to find out just how much you know about writing a narrative. So today's task is this. I want you to write me a short narrative about a monster underneath your bed. In your story, I'd like you to tell me what happened in the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. So now you've finished your writing, it's time to use my 5-tick checklist to edit your work. Did you start all your sentences with a capital letter? Did you finish your sentences with a full stop? Did you leave finger spaces between your words and write on the lines? What about your spelling? Are there any words that you're not sure of? If there are, just circle them and ask someone to see if they can help you with them. Now finally, read your story over. Read it to someone else. Does it make sense? Have you missed out any words, or is it some bit that you'd like to go back and change? Once you're happy with your story and you've done your checklist, ask someone to take a photo of it and upload it into our week 1 completed work document. Can't wait to hear about your monster who was hiding under your bed.